If you think abundance is a function of money, my friend, think again. I know. We live in a world where abundance is so often associated with money, with an accumulation of money, with having plenty or lots of money. Of course, there are other people who go the opposite direction, and abundance isn't just about money. It's about joy and well-being and peace and all of that. And in truth, it's all of that and more. But let's go back to abundance isn't a function of money, because that's a belief that traps a lot of people in a never-ending cycle of scarcity, because they're always chasing the money. They're always trying to get more money. They're always trying to do things with money that they think are going to make them abundant. They give a lot of power to money. They're afraid of money. They feel guilty about money. Money becomes a primary focus in their lives, even if they don't like to admit it. Look at all the hours they're working and the jobs they stay in that they hate because they think they need the money. This is what happens when we think abundance is a function of money. Now, I'm not saying that money isn't a part of it, but it's not the part you think it is. Money doesn't play the role you probably think it is if you've been thinking consciously or subconsciously that abundance is a function of money. It's a function of quantity of money. Or if you've been reacting in just the opposite and saying, no, it's not that. Either way, you're in the same game. So how can I say that abundance is not a function of money? Well, I just split one of an apple that we've had in our apples in our cellar from our harvest last year. So this is an apple, right? Now, an apple to grow so that I can eat it, which I'm going to do right after this video, needs certain resources to be able to fully become the apple it was created to be. It needs to be planted in rich soil that has the nutrients it needs. It needs sunlight. It needs rain or water. It needs bees and other pollinators to pollinate the blossoms so that it can produce fruit. But none of those things are what make it an apple. What makes it an apple is the seed right in the middle. That's how it all began. The seed is what makes it an apple. And actually, it's not even the seed, it's what's inside the seed. Inside this seed is all the potential, I call it the DNA of an apple, to be able to grow into a tree that blossoms and produces fruit. Not for the apple tree, but for the world around it. I get to eat it, birds get to eat it, worms get to eat it, and the seeds can produce future apple trees. What makes it apple isn't the soil or the sun or the rain. Rather, those are resources that the seed and then the apple sprout and apple tree knows how to use so it can grow and grow and grow and express itself as apple out into the world so it can become more of what it already is, of what it's been created to be, and ultimately then to blossom and produce fruit, not for itself, but for the world around us. The same is true when it comes to money and abundance. You already have within you, it's the divine spirit in us all the attributes, all the qualities that create that are abundance, generosity and love and compassion and creativity and all of that. You have that within you. And it makes you the unique human being you were created to be. And who you were created to be is someone who grows and grows into more of who you are. You prosper, you thrive, you blossom, and you produce fruit, not for your own sake, but that gives life in the world around you. And to be more and more who you were created to be, to express that inner abundance, all that potential for abundance out into the world, you need certain resources. And one of those is money. But that's not what makes you abundant. It's what can support you to experience abundance. And abundance, by its very nature, is always growing and expanding and blossoming and producing fruit to support life in the world. It's not, abundance is not something that's about consumption. It's about expression and expansion and generosity and giving. Now, this is a very different idea when it comes to money, because we're so used to focusing on the money. I need to make X amount of money. I need to, and you maybe do. And my business goals are money goals, and I want to raise to get this. But it's not about the money. If you make it about the money, you're always going to live disconnected from the experience of abundance that's available to you in this moment, and that is your divine nature. When you recontextualize your relationship with money as meaning it's a resource that's meant to support you to fully be who you are, and who you are is meant to create fruit for the world around you, a lot of the fear, a lot of the scarcity, a lot of the pressure, a lot of the stress, a lot of the money fears and driving behaviors, quiet. Because our focus changes from the money, from accumulating, from achieving, from getting there, from accomplishing it, to being who we are and saying yes to the life force that we are, to our own intuitions, to our own gifts, to our own call, to our own growth, to our own expansion. And in service of that, we learn to access and utilize the money we have. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more freeing. It's a lot more fulfilling. And it's very different than what most of us have grown up knowing and thinking. Whether that's, I got to pick a career so I know I can make money. Most of us haven't learned to trust the seed that we are and say yes to it, and then access the resources like money in service of producing fruit. It's the difference between a scarcity relationship with the universe and one based in abundance. And that's what I'm really good at supporting people to learn to trust, to make that shift so they can start to be who they were created to be, to access the resources they need, to use them to prosper, and to provide fruit, life in the world around us. And isn't that what we all need now in our world, my friend? Isn't that the model that you'd like to be part of? Isn't that the part of the world you'd like to be part of creating? If so, let's connect. Let's see how you can access the resource of money and utilize it so you can fully become the apple you were created to be. There's a link down below. Let's have a conversation. Let's see how I might be able to support you to do that. I'd love it, because the world needs you to fully be who you were created to be. The world needs you to blossom and thrive and share the fruit of your life and the gifts of your life so as to give life in our world right now. That's abundance, my friend. And that's who you are innately.